Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's okay. It's okay. The talk today is on a couple of mantras from a very beautiful Upanishad. Even if the Upanishad is not very well known, it is called Svetasvatara Upanishad, named after the Rishi Svetasvatara, who was the seer of the mantras of the Upanishad. The Upanishad has no author, unlike the Bhagavad Gita, which we know was authored by Bhagavan Vyasa. Upanishad has no author because it is given by Bhagavan. It is what is called apaurusheya, untouched by human mind, human hands, because otherwise how will we have the Shraddha to study? How will we understand this is to be trusted? It is somebody, even no matter how exalted, it's still a human being, means that person, she or he will be what? Like me. And I have certain ideas, I have certain notions, I have certain ideologies, and along with the knowledge, I will put the tadka of my own ideologies and saute it up. So therefore, the Upanishad is seen as untouched by anything to do with human hands, human mind, human intelligence, and therefore we say it has come from Bhagavan. Through, of course, through what are called mantra drashtarah. See, that's why we translate it as seer. So and so is a seer. Seer means they saw the mantras and they just expounded them as they saw them. And so named after the famous Svetasvatara Rishi of the Vedas, this one is called Svetasvatara Upanishad. Generally, when we hear the word Upanishad, it seems a little daunting, very much daunting. But somehow when Gita ji asked what is the topic, this is what came. First I said, why don't you suggest the topic? She said, we are celebrating her Guru's 144th anniversary, birthday, and so the Guru will give the topic. She was very confident. Yes. Because Guru means it's not a human being. It's Bhagavan. That's why we say what? Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, fill in the blanks. Maheshwaraha. So that is why this is what came for today. And so we will see what this is all about. The study of the Upanishad is daunting because we don't know much about it. And it's also daunting because when we try to look at, what are they called? The translations, the understanding doesn't come, only headache comes. Okay, so people who ask me, shall I study the Upanishad by myself? I say yes, provided you keep one krosin or dolo and a big glass of water by your side, then you can study the Upanishad, because definitely it will end in a headache if you do self-study. In fact, the mantras that we are going to study, one of them is going to say just as much. And so, what is this thing called Upanishad? We know it's one of the highest bodies of knowledge. And Vedanto Nama Upanishad, or Upanishado Nama Vedantaha. This is what the Adi Shankara and everybody says. Adi Shankara, one of the greatest sages of India, has a beautiful definition of the Upanishad in his commentary for the Kathopanishad. Because the word Upanishad itself in Sanskrit is made up of many words. It has a root verb called shadlr, which short form is shad. And then it has two prefixes. In fact, the word prefix already has a prefix. Pre plus fix. So like that. It has two prefixes. What are they? Upa and ni. Upa plus ni plus shad. The root verb already has certain meanings assigned to it. That's how the language is. The word shad has three meanings. Visharana gatihi avasadanayo. This is the meaning. Three meanings. One is visharati. Visharati means disperses. Like the sun, what the sun does to the fog. What does it do? It disperses the fog and then everything is covered in sunlight. So it disperses the fog. Just like the sun disperses the fog, here also the Upanishad disperses what kind of fog? Brain fog. Upanishad also disperses the fog. Kis tarah ka fog? Brain fog. Everybody has brain fog. Can't think properly. That is our confusion. That is our only contribution. Can't think properly. Can't do this. Can't do that. And we are full of all kinds of problems. And so Upanishad disperses what? Brain fog. Then, so therefore, therefore it is considered very, very sacred because it helps to clarify the thinking. The thinking is very, very clear, clarified after the study of the Upanishad. Just like when the sun comes out, the fog is totally dissipated. Fog is dissipated until when? Next day. The fog came back the very next day. Came back. Vapas aa gaya. What? Fog. Then the doubt arises in the mind that if I dispense with the fog now, then what will happen? It will come back again. No, that's why we have one more meaning there. What is that? Avasadayati. Avasadayati means unmulayati. Well, that didn't help. Okay. Unmulayati means avasadayati. Uproots. Moolam sameta. Along with the root. That's why we say uproot. Along with the root cause. It uproots the brain fog. Along with the root cause, it uproots the brain fog. And then what is the cause of the brain fog? The non-clarity of thinking. And what is the non-clarity of thinking? The personal eclipse or the personal rain cloud on one's head that is constantly waiting to rain and then makes one feel like one is in the doldrums. What is that? That is called the wrong conclusions connected, centered on myself, on Jagat, the universe, and on Bhagavan, Ishvara. There are wrong conclusions even about Ishvara. Many times we say, when I am in, what is that called? When I am in interfaith meetings, we tell the people, why don't we see, just like we see in the Hindu tradition, why not we see Bhagavan both as male and female? No. They are convinced. God is a man. They will not budge. That's a notion. God is a man, notion. And then God is only good. That's another notion. We all have it. And then when quote unquote bad things happen, bad things, there's no bad things. Things we don't like. That is what is a bad thing. When things we do not like happen, what do we say? Ayyo, God is bad. So we don't have an explanation. So there are notions about Ishvara, the cause of the universe. There are notions about myself. And that I don't have to tell you. You can tell me what are the notions about yourself that you have. Height-wise, I'm not okay. Weight-wise, I'm never okay. Age-wise, I'm not okay. Age-wise, are not okay. Every which way you look, I am limited. Limited, 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 limited. And then what? Financially, don't ask. Of course, I'm limited. Ah. My guru, Svatmavidyananda ji, used to tell, he used to have a challenge. He would say, you know, I can make the richest person poor in 1 second. How? Ask him for a donation. Simple. And what will he say? Sorry, Swamiji, all my money is tied up. I don't have. When you say I don't have, there is poverty. So like this, there is a problem. Every which way we look at it, there is a problem. Financially limited, and then every which way limited. And this limited person, are they happy being limited? Say no, so we can move on. Huh? No. They're not happy being limited. Why? We strive to be limitless. That striving is so much there. A huge striving, because I cannot handle the state of affairs. So what to do? Let me get married, so most of the people say. So it's limited marrying, another limited. Yeah. Doubly limited. Limited plus limited, doubly limited, private limited. That's all. And then, does the sensation of limitation go away? Not at all. Then children come along. And for a little while the mind is quiet because one is busy raising them, still limited. Everything limited, 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 limited. One is sick of this limitation because one takes this limitation to be real. This ocean of limitation that I have in my life is but a notion. That is what the Upanishad says. That is how the brain fog of non-clarity about the nature of the self is revealed. Because otherwise, I have my own autobiography that is written with tears. Okay? Yes. And what is that autobiography? Chapter 1. Let's call it autobiography of a bhogi, not yogi. Yeah. Autobiography of a yogi is a very nice book. But this is what? Autobiography of a bhogi, a conspicuous consumer. And what does this bhogi say? Chapter 1. Why me? Why all these things are happening to me? If everyone in the universe, which is what? 8 billion people in the universe, each one is saying, why me, it gets funny. Because that means there is no why me. But still that whining is there. Chapter 1, I have been targeted badly. I am a victim. Chapter 2, I have to strive. Chapter 2 is all about striving. Chapter 3, little bit of success, lot of failure in every which way you look at it. And then what? Chapter 4, more striving. Chapter 5, conclusion? No. To be continued in the next life. That's what it is. Life after life after life, that same sad autobiography is there. Sad means one need not be sad, crying all the time, but there is a sense of discontentment centered on the self, no matter which way we look at it, and the search is on. It's a big search. So therefore, the next meaning of the word Upanishad is avasadayati. The notion of limitation is removed along with its root cause. What is the root cause of this feeling of finitude, feeling of limitation? Pray tell. It is because I do not know myself. If I do not know myself, then I am self-aware enough to come to wrong conclusions about the nature of this I, which is partially known. If it was completely unknown, I would be fine. If I didn't know the nature of I, then if one did not know the nature of the self, then my job would be a lot easier. I would simply say, you are Satchit Ananda. You are the whole. You are wonderful. You are limitless in the eyes of the Upanishad. The Upanishad writes your autobiography differently. The Upanishad writes your life story. Your biography is completely opposite to what you write on your own. Upanishad's first chapter is not why you have been targeted, victim awareness is not there. Upanishad's first chapter is you are limitless, you are glorious, you are perfect, you don't have to do anything to be perfect. You are perfection personified, and you are not mortal, you are not subject to death. You are not just the sum total of this body, mind, sense complex. This is what is the vision of the Upanishad. If this is what the vision of the Upanishad is, and my own vision of myself, what is it? Completely opposite. One of them must be true, one of them must be not true. Which one is not true? My own version is not true. You are just saying that to be nice to me. Yeah. Because maybe somebody says, well, what does the Upanishads know? It's a very justified question. What does the Upanishad know about my life and my challenges? Nicely it's saying you are Satchidananda, you are limitless, you are free. What is the proof? Where is the proof? Well, to that secret question, unasked question, I will say the proof is in your own vision. Because if you are happy being sad, being discontented, then we don't have to talk about it. We can end the talk right here. But I can't stand it. One cannot stand sadness. Nobody can stand to be sad. Do you want to be sad? Raise your hand. See, nobody is raising your hand. Do you want to be anxious? No. Do you want to be non-accepting of yourself? No. Do you want to continue to be self-critical and self-consciously self-critical all the time? No. Do you want to suffer from self-loath? No. Do you want to be in disharmony with everybody else in the Jagat? No. Do you want to be in disharmony with yourself? Not at peace with yourself? No. That means every fiber in my being is rejecting the idea of these notions. These notions I have, but along with that I have a desire to be something completely opposite of these notions. Totally opposite. Please turn off your phones, okay? So that we can enjoy this thing. Then we have we have two kinds of ideas about the I. One is the ideal one, the ideal I, which is where I am a non-demanding, compassionate, contented, objective person. But how do I come across if I'm truthful for myself? Demanding, subjective, discontented person, passionate person. So these two discrepant views of the self have to be reconciled, and in order for them to be reconciled, one of them has to be outed as an impostor, and only one can be true. That the self is eminently acceptable and approvable has to be the true version. Why? Because that's what everybody wants. You ask somebody in China, in their language, in Mandarin, you ask, what do you want? They will say to be happy, to be contented, to be free, to accept myself. to be free from self-criticism, self-judgment, all these things. That is what they'll say. You ask somebody in Alaska, what will they say? Same. Everywhere you ask, it is exact same thing. So this is a universal escheval, a giving up, a rejection of the personalized so-called truth about myself, which is not true at all. Because everything rejects it. All the time it is rejected. Because this version which I want to reject, which is rejected by every fiber of my being, is responsible for making me dejected. And dejected I don't want to be. Nobody wants to be sad. Even pharmaceutical companies don't want you to be sad. That's why there are so many antidepressants, anti-anxiety, so many medicines are there. So therefore, we have to, reluctantly or otherwise, give up this notion of the I and then look, at least take a look at what the Upanishad is saying. And the second definition of the word Upanishad is, it uproots along with the root cause. What is the root cause of these wrong notions? What is the root cause?
Ignorance.
What kind of ignorance? Self-ignorance. And this ignorance is also a funny business. See, if I don't know something, like the word Ushnishaha. Ushnisha means what? Nobody knows. Okay? It's a Sanskrit word that means turban. Turban. In the Sri Rudram it comes. Namaha Ushnishine. Namaha to the turbaned one. Bhagavan who is wearing a turban. So, Ushnisha, ignorance, now it has dropped. Correct? Yeah. Why? Because you didn't know, and now you know the word Ushnisha. You may forget, but now you know what it means. So, Ushnisha, ignorance, has been dropped. So, if you don't know something, as I said earlier, it is easy to tell. Very easy to tell. Then you'll say, I didn't know. Oh, is that how it is? Oh, good. Thank you for letting me know. And then Vedanta is a very easy job. But matters are complicated primarily because we already have notions about the I. We already have various notions, all kinds of wrong notions, as we have seen. So, first, what the Upanishad has to do is to uproot the mistakes, and if you keep on addressing each and every mistake, we'll be here till the cows come home. So therefore what? The source of all the mistakes has to be taken out at once, and that source is self-ignorance with a twist. The stock example is, you see a snake in the grass when you come home one evening, right in front of your house. Eek, snake, you say. Then what? Shine the flashlight. What is it? Rope. In fact, then you say, oh, it's just an aropa. That's why it's called rope. It's just a projection. It's not really snake. What is it? It's a rope, it's a hose pipe, it is whatever you think it is. It's a aropa. It's a, what's it called? It's a projection. Just like the projection, I am not okay. I am not okay is an aropa. This is a snake is an aropa. Both are projections. The funny thing about projections we have to understand, without an adhisthana, a basis, there can be no projection. Can you see the snake when there is no rope? If you see a snake when there is no rope, then that means you're a special person. Okay? Yeah. And my guru had a wonderful definition of a special person. Who is a special person? He would ask. And he himself would answer, the one that needs a specialist immediately. So, without a basis, you cannot see the snake. There has to be some mala, srag. One mala is there, old mala somebody threw away, but it is lying down in the form of a snake which you did not recognize because the light was low. There was not enough light. And so that mala, you thought what? Snake. Rope, you thought? Snake. But there must be something there. You can't see snake without anything there. That's a different problem. It's not, that is not the subject matter for Vedanta. It's the subject matter for psychiatry, that kind of problem. Here we are talking about, we are only trying to address garden variety anxiety and neuroses, which everybody feels in their lives. Yeah. So, for that Vedanta is very good. It's the correct solution. Why did I mistake the rope for the snake? Because the rope was not very clear. It was somewhat clear, correct? I could kind of see there is something there. But then there is something there, that knowledge went and joined my fear of snakes. And immediately what did I say? Snake. Let me get away from here, it's a snake. So in the same way, now this is the example, Drishtanta. Let's go to Darshtanta. Darshtanta means that which is exemplified by this example. What is exemplified by this example? We see something very interesting. So, rope sthaniya. What is in the place of the rope? Atma, myself. I am in the place of the rope. What is in the place of the snake? All the notions I have about myself. I am not good enough. Nobody loves me. For that matter, even I don't love them. And then nobody cares. And nobody is around me. I'm always taken for granted. I'm always misunderstood. This is my karma. This is how it is going to be. Not only in this life, but for the 20 other lifetimes. This is how I'm supposed to live. Oh, but that's so hopeless. Yeah, I'm hopeless. That's one more complex. Already so many complexes. Yes, that's another thing. I'm so hopeless. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, that's true. I'm so self-critical. That becomes one more complex. Endless numbers of complexes are projected on what? This is my question to you. They cannot be projected on nothing. There has to be a basis for that projection. Without adhisthana, there can be no aropa. Without a basis for the projection, there can be no projection. Well, you just said it is myself. Yes, it is yourself. That self which is free of the projections becomes a sitting duck for projection. Why? Because let us unpack the second component of this rope snake analogy. I see something in the grass. Indistinctively I see. Similarly, the self is somewhat known, like the rope is somewhat known and becomes a sitting duck for the projected snake. The self is somewhat known and becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of wrong notions, projections, ideas, ideologies about myself. What do you mean by the self is somewhat known? I ask my famous question. What is my famous question? Are you here? Don't scare me, okay? Give me a response. You're scaring me. Yes. After some time, the answer eventually comes. It has to come. Yeah. Yes. That's the only question you can say. I am here. Yes. So yes, when you say, that means the self is known. But please don't ask the next question. What is the next question? Who are you? What is your nature? If you ask me that, I'll have to say, how long you have to hear my sad life story. Once I was going in a bus to go to a remote place in America. I was taking a bus from Eugene to somewhere and in California to do some yajna in somebody's land. They had purchased this land, this couple, and they invited me. They were going to start one holistic health farm or something like that, growing herbs. They said, please come and bless this land, let's do a fire ritual. I said, okay, we'll do that. And then everything went well. On the way back, I had a seatmate on the bus who had many problems. So she said, why are you wearing this color? I said, I am a Swami. She said, Swami. She got very excited. And then she said, here I have lots to talk to you about. And then I'm going to tell. She told. And it was a 4-hour journey, 4.5-hour journey. And then my phone rang. Okay, phone rang. It was the people who were going to pick me up. They knew I was coming by this bus, and they were going to pick me up in Eugene. So then the phone rang, and then I said, yes, the bus is on time. We are in fact 10 minutes away. And then she said, 10 minutes away? She said, give me your phone. I thought she wanted to make a call. So I gave her the phone. What she did was she called the last number, but the person picked up again. And they said, can you please pick up the Swami from the next stop because I haven't finished. I haven't finished discussing my problems and I want solutions. Can you pick her up from Springfield rather than Eugene? This is the story of our lives. This is how it is. Never finishes. Never finishes. All the problems, all the sadness, all the things. Usually it doesn't come out. We are very brave. We keep laughing, smiling and being very cheerful. But smoldering underneath is all these things which only the person knows. So therefore, there is this projection in the form of I don't approve of myself. It all comes down to non-self-approval, self-judgment centered on the I, non-self-approval. Because of which I make myself and the rest of the people around me miserable. Why? Non-self-approval means I become demanding. And self-judgment means I become critical of everybody else. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Insecurity centered on the I means I become controlling. Somebody says, I love you. Yes, shut up, sit down. I love you, therefore sit down. What kind of a love is it? Yeah, but this is how it is. Go here, go there, come, do this, do that. One becomes controlling. Why? Because one is insecure. There is a deep fear of non-acceptance. So one becomes hyper-vigilant and controlling. We recognize all these in ourselves. This is just, what the Upanishad just brings it out. That's all it does. Then what do we have? So the second meaning of the word Upanishad means to uproot this self-ignorance completely. So I see the rope as rope and I see the aropa as aropa. That's what I do. It uproots the self-ignorance in two ways. First, by dismissing the notions, wrong notions about the I, which is 9/10 of the job, and then by reminding you who you are. That reminding doesn't take time because all the notions are like the Rahu. Who is Rahu? Shadow planet, yes. Everybody fears this planet in the horoscope. Yes, everybody says, OMG, Rahu is in the wrong place, running Rahu Mahadasha. All this is very frightening. So, therefore now we have two meanings. What was the first meaning? Sudden quiz. Disperses, like even the fog. Second meaning, uproots the root cause, disperses the notions by uprooting the root cause of self-ignorance. And the third meaning is for those people who say, these are all just negative things of what the Upanishad, what is this metaphors, uproots, disperses, but what does it actually do? Gati means Brahma Gamayati. Gamayati leads you to yourself. Brahman is yourself. Atmanam Gamayati, that also becomes, takes you back to yourself. That's why, and what is this yourself? You know better than anybody. Some days you wake up and you're in a very magnanimous mood and it continues. Somebody argues with you, you say, doesn't matter. No problem. You don't bite their head off for a change. They are also surprised. And then somebody cuts you off on the road as you're riding in the car. There also you say, it's okay. They must be having a hard day. You're in a magnanimous place. Somebody knocks on the car window, asks for money. Generally you're cross because why are they asking for money? What's wrong with them? But then today you just go out of the way to slide down the window and then ask about their lives, what they are doing, and help them out give a little handout. Some days all is well with the world. Those days are few and further between. Rest of the time, what is that? Just waiting to get somebody. Yeah. Just waiting for a scapegoat. Just waiting for somebody to come over which I can vent out the frustrations, the anger, the fear, everything. So therefore, these two views must be reconciled by falsifying the regularly accepted view that the self is something finite, limited, subject to self-disapproval, self-criticism, self-judgment, and has self-non-acceptance. That has to be completely dismissed. And what will rise in its place is the understanding that is in keeping with the flow of the Upanishad. And that is where the harmony takes place. This is the meaning of the word Upanishad. Now that we know the meaning of the word Upanishad, we can get into this particular Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad. And this Svetasvatara Rishi starts with a little Akhyayika. Akhyayika means a baby story. Baby story. Akhyaya story. Akhyayika means a small story. We don't need the story to talk about the nature of the self. But then the Upanishad is worried that if we go straight into the story, then what will happen? Everybody will fall asleep without the story. If you go straight into the message of the Upanishad, you are Sat Chit Ananda, what will happen? Nirvikalpa Samadhi will happen. Right in class, people will just go like that. Yeah. Best sleep you get in Vedanta class alone. Yes. Nowhere else. Best nodding off happens right here. Yes. So, therefore, this is the idea that the story always, like you sit up, a story is coming, wonderful. It reminds us of our childhood days where the grandma and the grandpa were what? Telling us bedtime stories. And that would help us focus. So here too, your story is coming. The story is coming. It's not really much of a story, so don't get too excited. Okay? Yeah. The story is to lead you to your own glory. That's all the story is. So there are sages sitting and in deep states of meditation. Sages means not just somebody with a beard, okay? We have to get that orientation out. Yeah. We think of sage, as soon as we say sage, one top knot comes to mind, like the kind Praveena has, and then and a long beard, like the kind she doesn't have. Okay, so this is the idea. Somebody with a bada dadi and one top knot and one rudraksha mala around it for better appearance. This is what the idea of sage. That's not sage. Anybody can do that. So now Kumbh Mela is going on. You can go there and see. Everybody has that. So a sage is what? A sage is a wise person who may not have studied Vedanta, but has had a lot of time for inner reflection. When do we have time for inner reflection? When the cares of the world and also the fears about the nature of the I are not very imminent. When are the cares of the world and my own insecurities and my own notions of myself do not trouble me? When the raga and dvesha, strong preferences and strong prejudices respectively, go down. When will the raga and dvesha go down? When I am at peace with myself. When am I at peace with myself? When the raga dvesha go down. This is a catch-22, but there is a way out of it. For the person who is prayerful, who practices a certain kind of for lack of a better term, a minimalistic living, both outside and within. Minimalistic, because the less things you have, the less things there are to take care of, and the less cares there are in the world. That is outside external minimalism, and internal minimalism is learning to, we can't control thoughts because we are not in charge of them, they come on their own, but learning to put full stop after every thought, which we don't know how to do. One thought comes. Sitting here right in Vedanta class, one thought comes. What is the thought? OMG, did I lock the door of my house? Yeah. Only two options. What are the options? You either locked it or you did not lock it. If you locked it, well and good. If you did not lock it, what can you do? You can leave the talk. Yes, that option is there. No, but it's so interesting. I don't want to leave. Okay, then what are you going to do? So that's when you have decided, you've already made a decision. What is the decision? I'm not going to leave. I'm sure I locked it. If whatever thoughts are coming, it's okay, I'm not going to leave. You've already decided. Then the thought comes again. Did I lock? I don't think I locked it. Did I lock it? And then that's when we have to learn to put Purna Viramaha. What does that mean? Full stop after that thought. Full stop. Otherwise what happens? Oh, yesterday some suspicious people were seen moving around. What if the security guard is asleep on the job? What if becomes the connecting expression, phrase between two questions. What if? And then what? You are the whole. That message is missed. Why? Because up till now I was paying attention, then I got a glazed look sitting right in front of the teacher, and then what? Everything went away. We have to learn to put full stop. Thoughts come, full stop. These sages were the masters of full stop. In fact, so much full stop, when we start to put full stop after every thought, then the pressure to keep talking also reduces. Because inner full stop translates into what? Outer full stop. Very nice. Very nice. And in the beginning, maybe other people are not used to it. Your loved ones will take your temperature. Are you feeling okay? You're rather quiet. But then they will feel a wave of extra love for you because they see that you are in a place of tranquility, true tranquility. These sages did not have the pressure to speak. These sages did not have the pressure to fulfill their raga dveshas. Because raga dveshas are one thing, but then the pressure to fulfill them creates a lot of problems. They did not feel that pressure, and then therefore what? They were in great states of meditation, and then they asked a question. What was the question? The question was, what makes this world turn around? What makes this world turn around? What is it that we have to, what is our purpose in life, and what is it that will make us see the truth of ourselves? These are very advanced questions. These are not the questions of beginners. So that is the story, and the answer comes to them from Bhagavan directly. Either so Bhagavan has to speak through you or speak through a teacher. That's the only possibility. So, these sages got the answer directly because they had already studied with the teacher, and this was more of a contemplative exercise. And then the Upanishad in 6 chapters very beautifully unfolds one by one the vision of the Vedanta. Now we are going to take 2 mantras, both from chapter 6. So from chapter 1 through 6, it's a very important Upanishad, even though people haven't heard of it. And it doesn't come under the 10 Upanishads for which Adi Shankara has given commentaries. It doesn't come under that, but Pujya Swamiji held it my Guru held it in high esteem, because it has a lot of important portions of the vision of non-division, and it has many mantras that are quoted everywhere else. So, a case in point, we have one mantra here which talks about Maya Shakti. Only 2 Upanishads talk about Maya, which is the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and this Upanishad. Talks about Maya Shakti, which is very badly understood. And so here, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam cha Maheshwaram. Very beautiful. So, Maya is the force which creates. And Ishvara is what? What we call Bhagavan, Ishvara is the co-creator in the form of the intelligence behind the creation. Very beautiful, very clean. And then so like this, there are many mantras which are important. And another mantra, very beautiful, Tileshu Tailam Dadhiniva Sarpihi Apaha Sroteshu. Like this, there is one mantra where is this Atma hidden? This Atma, which is unfolded by the Upanishad, is what? Is the truth of the entire universe. This Atma is myself alone, it's not anything else. This Atma is me, this Atma is the cause of the universe, and the effect and the cause are non-separate from one another. Many mantras unfold this. What is that? What does that mean? What is the effect? Effect like pot, clay pot we have, let us say. So the clay pot, what is the cause of clay pot? Clay, naturally. So the clay pot is non-separate from clay. Pot is effect, clay is cause, but the pot is not, the effect is non-separate from cause, just like the pot is non-separate from clay. Ornament is non-separate from what? Gold. Ornament and gold are not two, they are not synonyms. And so therefore, if we have a nose stud and if we have a chain, are they separate from gold? No. They are not separate at all. In fact, they are various expressions of the gold. But supposing the chain and the nose stud had a human mind, what would happen? The chain will say, I don't like myself. In fact, this woman is a hypochondriac. Little gust of wind comes, she just puts panchakoshas, one after the other. She puts all kinds of sweaters and everything. I have such a pretty design. I have a lovely pendant. And then what? I am a dependent. Because even though I have a lovely pendant, nobody is helping me show it off. This lady won't even show it off. And if she sees some suspicious people on the street, she clutches and chokes the life out of me. Oh God, this is unbearable. Then the chain is slightly jealous of the nose stud, shining. And in fact, when she greets people, what do they see first? Not me, it's the stupid nose stud they see. Hey Bhagavan, next life, what? Make me a nose stud, nose ring, nose stud. I don't want this chain. The nose stud, meanwhile, has its own problem. This woman has allergies all the time, she's sneezing, and this is terrible. And my root is in all kind of filth from the nose. Terrible. I may look nice on the outside, but so much phlegm inside. Oh God, take me out of this terrible existence. Look at that chain, so nice and secure and big on her neck. Nobody bothers it, and she's always stroking it and always clutching it. Look at that. And it too has a prayer. What is its prayer? Oh God, make me a chain next life. This is why Bhagavan doesn't need cable TV. All of us are reality channels, yes. Yeah. Just has to watch the Jagat. And then you see, what does Bhagavan say? Tathastu, let the entertainment begin. Next life, so both of them go to the jeweler, Laya, okay? They are we can't say melted, because every other thing melts. Gold and other minerals smelt. Okay, so they are smelted, and then the chain becomes what? Hostel. Hostel becomes chain. Are they happy? 5 minutes they are happy, yeah. The nose stud, which is now in the form of the chain, says, aha, this is the life. Yay, I'm right close to the heart. I'm accepted. I'm loved. I'm close to this person, not far away. Yippee! And then suddenly she wraps the shawl tightly around the neck. The nose stud is used to fresh air. And it's like, what happened over here? Help! What's going on? Meanwhile, the new nose stud, which was the old chain, is also happy for 2.5 minutes exactly. Yes, fantastic! Wonderful! This is what life should be like. Look, I'm high up. I can see things. Before I had no view. I had no view at all. Now the vision of the Jagat is very clear. I can see people. People can see me. In fact, I've already got 3 compliments. Achoo, says the woman just then. And the nose stud, which was the chain, was used to, we had a very sheltered existence. It was not used to all this drastic things. It fainted, it swooned, and then it came to and said, what is this wet feeling? What is all this? Yuck! Terrible! Then they both prayed again. What did they say? Oh God, make me back into a chain. Oh God, make me back into nose stud. Swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. Bhagavad Gita says it's better to accept what we have. One's own duties, one's own dharma that has been given, better to do it even imperfectly. Rather than think, I should be this or that. Why am I this now? I should be something else. But better yet is to graduate from performing one's own karma, dharma, to understanding the vision, not I am gold, I am the shining Satchidananda. The nose stud and the, what's its name, the chain and the pot, they have to understand I am non-separate from the source, namely gold and clay. I have to understand I too am non-separate from the source, whose truth is described as that which exists, and that existence is free of sorrow, therefore it is Ananda, and that existence is free of being jada, inert. There is no inertitude, it is Chetana, sentient. Are you sentient? Don't scare me, okay? Yeah. Do you exist? I asked first.
Yes.
What did you say? Yes. Very reluctantly you said? Yes. Are you self-aware? Are you sentient? Yes. That means you are Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit, I understand, I'm existent, yes, and I'm self-aware, but this Ananda is a very big leap. Where is this Ananda? What is this Ananda? This is not understood at all. We think Ananda is through an experience. That's why there is so much striving for this Ananda. And then people have very funny ideas about Ananda also. They think it is Brahmananda, means it's a Upanishadic Ananda. What is Upanishadic Ananda? Upanishadic Ananda means it's a special Ananda. How are you going to get some special Ananda? And is this special Ananda known to you? No. Then how can you desire for something that you do not know? Can you desire for something you don't know? Absolutely not. You have to know it. Then only you can desire something. Otherwise, it is impossible to want something that you do not know. Not possible at all. So this Ananda is somewhat known. I know it, I want it. But I want more of it, and I want it forever. So what does one do? One strives and strives and strives, a futile striving to make the finite infinite. Can you make the finite infinite? No. Infinite is not a product, it cannot be made, it either is or isn't. Infinite is, and that which is infinite has to include you. If you exclude yourself from the infinite will become what? Finite. Two things about limitlessness we should know. Limitlessness means it should be existent already. It cannot be conjured up, or it's not a product of action. Second, if it's not a product of action, what is it? It should include me. If it includes me, I am limitless already, but it has to be understood. And if I don't understand it, the danger is that I will keep striving for it, trying to make the finite infinite. That's why everybody hankers after permanence. Do you have a job? Yes. But you're saying yes in a dejected way. It's not permanent yet. Is this your house? Yeah, but it's rented. It's not mine. Actually, even when you say my house, most of the time it belongs to the bank. Yes. It's the bank's house. And it's holding it for you till you make all the payments. And so, in this manner, there is a lot of wrong assumptions about this Ananda. This Ananda is centered on you, just like the existence is centered on you. Existence is centered on me means what? When finally you answered the question, do you exist? Are you here? You finally answered yes. After seeing that it wasn't a trick question or a rhetorical question, I was really looking for an answer. What did you say? Yes, I am here, I exist. Did you have to ask the significant other, hello, do I exist? What shall I say? No. You didn't have to ask anybody. What did you do? You spontaneously you say yes. So this means it's a kind of existence that is independent of anything else. This existence is separate from what? This existence is separate from all kinds of things that use the word exists. Computer exists. Sofa exists. Chair exists. Table exists. Walls exist. Ceiling exists. Door, window exists. Is. Floor is. Lamp is. What is the difference between the is existence of all the things in the universe, and when I say I is? I know it's grammatically incorrect, but the isness connected to the I. What is the difference? One thing is, we see that all the things in the universe that exist are dependent on me. Oh, come on, how can they be dependent on me? The mic doesn't say, I am here too. No. Thank God. Otherwise it will say, I also have a few words to say about the Svetasvatara Upanishad. The spoon doesn't eat the food. As soon as you put the food on the plate, the spoon says, I'm hungry, and it disappears. No. Thank God certain things are what we call insentient. In fact, everything other than you is insentient. Pramana Siddha means it needs a means of knowledge, and it needs a self-sentient person to call it out. To make itself evident, it does not have the capacity to make itself evident. If you're looking for your pair of glasses, which you have put somewhere forgotten, it doesn't say, hello, I'm here. It doesn't say that. Stop looking, I'm here. No, you still have to look for it. You can put all these new things, air tag and so many things have come. You can do that. But air tag also has to communicate with some other insentient device, and that insentient device you have to control. Even though you call it smartphone. It's not as smart as you. This is what we don't see. Everything in the universe is dependent on me. Am I dependent on the things in the universe? Not at all. Everything is pramana siddha. It becomes evident to me through the use of a means of knowledge. Like if I want to see something, if I want to see that lamp or the fan or something like that, what do I need? Eyes. If I hear the music coming, then the music is recognized through the ears. Everything is recognized through a means of knowledge. Except I. I am self-evident, Svetasvatara, already established. This we have to understand. Both are Brahman. The things in the universe also Brahman, Atma, the truth, and then I am also what? Brahman alone, but there is a separation that has to be made initially. You separate in order to unite. And what is the separation? Everything becomes evident to me alone, and I become evident to myself. So therefore, there is no dependency on the things that become evident to me. In other words, that are dependent upon me for their existence. This is number one. Going back now to the question of Ananda, the second point, the things in the world with which I come into contact, no doubt make me happy, but I have to clearly ask the question, says the Svetasvatara Upanishad, whether it's the things that make me happy or the happy me comes out in relation to the things. If the things make you happy, like a person in your life, for example, they should make you happy all the time. Is there such a person that makes you happy all the time, 24/7, 365? Not at all. Even to the most beloved one, what do you say? I need space. I need my own time. I have to get away from everything, including you. Yeah. Same person doesn't make you feel happy all the time. Same thing also doesn't make you feel happy all the time. Same experience also doesn't make you happy all the time. Even the second cup of coffee does not taste as nice as the first. It's the question of diminishing returns. And so therefore it's the theory of diminishing returns. Therefore, all these experiences that one strives to have in order to be happy are incapable of making you happy if the happiness was already not centered on you. This is another projection we make, just like the rope snake projection, that the happiness is in the hands of the objects which I myself bring to light, which are dependent on me. How can the happiness be in the hand of an inert object? But this is the power I give to the objects in the universe, objects, people, situations, events, places. There's no such thing as a happy place unless you're talking of a sense of disconnection, which people use metaphorically. I'm going back to my happy place. No, there's no such thing called happy place. No, but this place when I went on holiday made me happy. Okay, go now and see. Did it make you happy? No. Why? Because I was in a bad mood. I couldn't enjoy anything. See, a place didn't make you happy. There is no such thing called happy time. Even though we say happy hour, only the bartender gets happy. Yeah, it's only sad people going there to forget their woes. There's no happy hour. There's no happy place. There's no happy time. There's no happy situation. Because the same situation is not constant. It cannot make you happy all the time. This means that my own happiness centered on me, that happiness is centered on me. You can't say it's within me. Within, outside doesn't matter. It's just a figure of speech. It is centered on this I. And it is everywhere, the Upanishad says, like the oil in the small till, sesame seed. Tileshu tailam. So the sesame seed is tiny, correct? Then if you look at the sesame seed, can you say the oil is on the top or in the bottom or on the left side or on the right side? The whole thing is oil. Dadhiniva sarpihi. In the buttermilk is hidden the butter. Churning brings it out. So similarly, when I churn or when I activate my interactions with the universe, the happy I comes out. But then this mistakenly makes me think that the world has the power to make me happy. The world is eminently finite. World means starting with my own body, mind, sense complex. It is eminently finite, and therefore I go into the futile track of making all the things finite into infinite. And it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. Children do that sometimes because they are small, they don't know. Oh, it doesn't fit, maybe it will fit like this. It is not fitting at all. The two things have nothing to do with one another. Therefore, I have to understand that I am this source. I am this source. And in fact, one understands this when? In deep sleep. No problems in deep sleep. No credit card debt in deep sleep. Whether the sleep comes in Vedanta class or outside of Vedanta class doesn't matter. No problem in sleep. In fact, nobody wants to get up. Once you sleep, what happens? Nobody wants to get up. Everybody wants to remain sleeping. Why? Because as soon as I wake up and stretch, my problems have woken up along with me and they are demanding coffee. They are like, okay, where is my chai? The problems also wake up and rub their eyes alongside myself. As long as I am asleep, I am Ananda. I am the incarnation of Ananda. I am Ananda personified. There is nothing other than I. Ananda, 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 Ananda alone. This is how we know that the Ananda, the happiness that I'm searching for, is centered on me, not on anything else. Okay, let me go to sleep then. Is that an option? Go to sleep all the time? No, it's not an option at all. Waking up happens, sleep happens, waking up happens, waking up has to be done. It cannot not be done. And so therefore, this is where the Upanishad comes and says that you have to understand this truth. That the happy I is the one which is going around interacting with the universe, and even the sad I is upheld by the happy I. Satchidananda upholds the sorrow also. The sorrow is an as though rain cloud on this self which is free from sorrow. And so the verse, that one of the mantras is as follows. It is the 20th mantra in chapter 6. Yada charma vadakasham Veshtayishyanti manavaha Tada devam avijñāya दुःखस्यान्तो भविष्यति. Very interesting and intriguing mantra. Yada, when charmavat akasham veshtayishyanti manavaha. Manavaha, human beings. When the human beings are able to wear space like a dhoti, charmavat, like a charma. In the olden days, they used to wear a bark, tree bark, or skin of deer skin, etc. Are you able to roll up space like a carpet, cut out a piece of space, roll it up like a carpet, bring it back and then wear it like a dhoti or a sari? Yes? Say no, so we can move on. Yeah. No. Absolutely not. This is a no-brainer. There's nothing to think about it. Don't start imagining, okay, which part of space shall I cut? Are some parts of space better than other parts of space? It's not like going to a fabric shop and saying I need 10 meters of some cloth. No, we are talking of space which is everywhere. Okay, I'll have this portion of space. Let me cut and then wear it. If you cut and wear space, what will happen? What will one be wearing? Emperor's clothes. That's what one will be wearing. We have such people in the tradition, sadhus called Digambaras. Space is their dress. Meaning they are Naga Babas. They don't wear anything. They are supposed to train themselves to understand they are beyond the body, beyond the self-consciousness of the body. Same thing with the Jain sages also. Some of them don't wear. And so this way, we see this truth is very interesting. So, yada charmavat akasham manavaha veshtayishyanti, when they are able to wrap it up or wrap it around themselves, tada, at that point, Brahma avijnaya, Devam and avijnaya, without knowing this self-effulgent self, you can have freedom from sorrow. Meaning what? Atmajnanam is not an option. It's not an optional pursuit. It's not a recreational pursuit. I will have Vedanta as my hobby. Vedanta is not a hobby. It is you. It is the truth of you. Hobby means what? I just dabble in it once in a while in my spare time. It may start as a hobby, but then it has to become you, pun intended. It may start as a hobby. Okay, let's see what this Vedanta says. There is a certain curiosity, there is a jigyasa, there is some kind of, okay, let's see. There are so many other interesting things in the world. This too I will want and this too I will have. Then this attitude, what does it do? It takes away the understanding of the primordial problem. The problem is what? I don't know myself. What is the solution? I need to know myself. This is a very simple question answer. Here is where we have all kinds of issues. I know myself means what? You just now told me I can't read the Upanishads. Yes, you can read, but you must not. So therefore what? I need a teacher. Oh, so now you are appointing yourself. Yeah, that is the feeling, people might say. Now you are making me dependent on a teacher in order to study this knowledge. Why not I study by myself? If you study by myself, let us see who is studying. The one who knows or the one who doesn't know? The one who doesn't know, not only doesn't know, has a lot of notions about themselves. So then when the Mahavakya comes, Mahavakya means that which shows you that your glory and Ishvara are one and the same, are not separate from one another. When the Mahavakya comes and says, declares you to be non-separate from the cause of the universe, this person with this kind of a finite infrastructure, unprepared to study, what will they say? Dismiss it. Nah, not me. Next. That's why people come and say, I have studied the Kathopanishad, I have studied the Keno Upanishad, I have studied Mundaka Upanishad, I have studied Mandukya Upanishad, I have studied this Upanishad, that Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, everything I have studied. And I say, wow, wonderful. No, but it doesn't work because nothing happened. I said, how did you study? I sat and read them. Nothing happens. Nothing happens if you read. Upanishads are cryptic sentences and they have to be unfolded in keeping with how the tradition unfolds it, because we have a tradition of analytical thinking. This is not like some other tradition where you are made to believe. Yes, sir, I believe. You are the whole. Yes, I believe. There's nothing to believe. Ishvara, Bhagavan, is for us is not a matter for belief. It is a matter for understanding as non-separate from ourselves. This is what has to happen. And so therefore, one needs to study. And as I have said many times, it is not kabhi kabhi mere dil mein Vedant ka khayal aata hai. Yeah. हमेशा आना चाहिए. Always it should be there. Always that, because it's not any other pursuit. It's not like any other pursuit. Any other pursuit will keep the doldrums going, the sorrow going. 2 hours you have, what is that called? Respite. Why? You go to a mall. How do you spell mall? M-A-U-L. Yes, where you go to get mauled of your pocketbook. That's what it is. You go to a mall for 2 hours, you think you're happy. And then you come back, oh, why did I spend so much money? I was just going to look, but somehow I took. What I was supposed to look, I ended up, taking. This is what. So retail therapy, 2 hours, some other therapy, another 2 hours. Go and go see a friend, another 2 hours. Go to a, what is that called? Some kind of lunch or dinner. Another 3-4 hours. Because you forget yourself. Whenever you forget this self, the complaining self, when you forget, the happy self comes out on its own. But then you can't keep forgetting the self in order to remember or know that you're happy. This is no way to go about it. Why? Because this has been going on lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. How long? No, but Vedanta is so difficult. Why? Because right now you're being nice, but if I attend another class with you, you'll ask me to give up everything. No, I won't. Promise. I won't ask you to give up anything. Why? Because the Upanishad herself does not ask you to give up anything. There are 2 lifestyles, it says. One lifestyle, yes, give up everything. Oh, but I'm not ready for that. Okay, second lifestyle, don't give up anything. But make this a priority. Treat this as not some one more thing in the universe that I have to do. If it's one more thing, it will be just like, it will drop. Because that's why people say, I have no time for Vedanta. Because I have one more project, I have too many irons in the fire. That kind of a mind cannot study. Study means listen. Listen means I have to be present. And the mind has to be a little clear of all the debris we carry around every day. The debris that we carry around is in the form of leftover thoughts. Just like leftover food out of the fridge. After a while it's not pretty, and the leftover thoughts in the mind have developed mold. Nobody loves me. That is the conclusion. Nobody cares. Everybody is like this. There is the bitterness, the mold of bitterness, resentment, anger, fear, insecurity. This is what is there that has to be wiped out every day. This is some kind of a self-help that I can do to clear the mind, to present myself in front of the talk that is revealing my own nature to me. Otherwise, the resentment will multiply along with all the difficult emotions. How to clear the resentment? For cleaning the body, there is soap, so many kinds of soap. But how to clear the soup? That is inside, a total mix-up. Inner soap is there. What is the inner soap? Mantra, meditation, japa. Japa is the soap. Harinama is the soap. That is the soap. You take a mantra and meditate. Keep repeating the mantra, and then when you meditate that, then the mind clears enough to even start wanting this knowledge. Which brings us to the second last mantra, I think. Maybe no, it's the last mantra, the 23rd mantra in the 6th chapter of the same Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad. Yasya deve para bhaktihi,
Yasya deve para bhaktihi,
yatha deve tatha gurau,
yatha deve tatha gurau,
tasyaiva kathita hyarthaha, tasyaiva kathita hyarthaha, prakashante mahatmanah,
prakashante mahatmanah,
prakashante mahatmana iti,
prakashante mahatmana iti.
It's repeated twice to show the end of the book. Because in olden days it was all in the head. There were no books. So when you repeat it twice, it's either the end of a chapter or the end of a book. Here it's the end of the book. So iti means samaptam, finished. So what does this say? This says that, all the other things that we do so many things in life in addition to pursuing this knowledge. All the other things we do can subserve this knowledge when we see those other activities as a way of preparing oneself for this knowledge. That's why people say, why don't I understand this through bhakti? Why don't I understand this through something else? Why can't I understand this through meditation? What will you meditate on? Who am I? Who am I? Who is asking? The ignorant one. What answer will come if you ask, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Idiot. That's the only answer. That's the only answer. No other answer can come. Murkha. Idiot. That's the answer that will come. So therefore I need help. And in order to enjoy this teaching and in order to develop a love for this teaching, I have to clear the palate. If you go to some high-end restaurant, they give you different courses. You can't decide, I want this, They will decide the menu. And in between, they will give a little drink, 2 teaspoons of something. And what is that? Palate cleanser. And you go, that's all. Then you're ready for the next course. Then you're ready for that next course. So we need a palate cleanser, because what is the palate now? It is vitiated by all kinds of things, dependencies and various addictions. I can't live without this, I have to have this, I have to do this. This is what it is, the palate has to be cleansed. And these mantras act like the palate cleanser to prepare one for this knowledge. And then when one is prepared for this knowledge, one cultivates a love for this knowledge. We have to start developing a love for this knowledge. And the love for this knowledge is not any different from the love for the self. Oh, but I hate myself. You don't really. Even though you say I'm subject to self-loathe, that's a notion. Remember we said, whatever looks like an ocean is just a notion. Yes? Whatever it's just a notion. It's just a notion. And if it's just a notion, then it is what do we do with notions that are wrong? Dismiss them. So we dismiss them in the light of the truth that I am the whole and I really want to know this truth. So I have to develop a love for this knowledge. And to develop a love for this knowledge, I have to have a certain amount of self-love. And to develop self-love, the mantra is very good, japa is very good, yoga is very good. Anything I do, I can make it for the sake of preparing myself for this knowledge, to have some emotional growth and emotional maturity to ready myself for this knowledge. This is what the next mantra says. For whom, yasya, for whom, deve, in Bhagavan, para bhaktihi. Utmost devotion. Para bhaktihi means that the utmost devotion. So this devotion has to be cultivated. The devotion is not a way to knowledge of the self on its own, but the devotion becomes an indirect means for knowledge when it is seen to be like that, when it is treated as such, and when it is taken seriously, it becomes an impetus for preparation. So, yasya deve parabhaktihi. And what do? I stop being the agent of my own life. This is a very quick way to develop bhakti. What do I say? Ishvara is in charge. Doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay. What do you mean it's okay? It's not okay. And that it is not okay is also what? Okay. Oh, I can't accept this. Can you accept your non-acceptance? No, I can't accept my non-acceptance. Can you accept the non-acceptance of your non-acceptance? No. I'll keep asking this question until you say yes. At some point you'll get tired and say yes, and you work slowly backwards to accept what is inevitable. We are not saying accept everything. You have ambitions, you have goals, this is clear, this is lovely, this is wonderful. Strive for whatever you want, no problem. But then there are certain things in life that do not happen. In fact, what is most annoying is they happen to others frequently. You want the promotion, the neighbor gets it. You want something else, other person has it very easily. You want to be a dancer, but one has 2 left feet. Yeah. What to do? It's not, certain things are not meant to be sometimes. Or certain things may be meant to be, but there is some block that needs to be resolved through, that again is through prayer. You have to pray. That is the source. Through prayer, one removes the blocks in the way of fulfillment of one's desires. Through prayer, one prays for the desires to be purified. Through prayer, only one is able to inoculate oneself from the slings and arrows of outrageous karma, as Hamlet, in Shakespeare's play, said in his soliloquy. I always feel that Shakespeare must have studied Vedanta.
Yeah.
All's the world a stage. Men and women are actors. See, that has a Vedantic ring to it. And this one also. To be or not to be, that is the question. And then he talks about the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. So whether I want to protect myself from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, the prayer becomes a medium. The prayer becomes a medium for self-growth. The prayer becomes a way to ward off obstacles in the way of gaining this knowledge. The prayer becomes a way of trying to cultivate this knowledge. I want to cultivate this knowledge. And so therefore what? Therefore, yasya deve parabhaktihi. When this bhakti is there, full-fledged, total surrender to Bhagavan. Total surrender to Bhagavan means accepting the inevitable. Accepting the inevitable means after many, many tries, when I can't have this, I say okay. I learn to say okay, and if I can't say okay, I am with my not saying okay. I embrace my not okay also. Yatha deve, just like the same bhakti I have in Bhagavan, that same bhakti is directed towards the source of the knowledge. Here, the Guru who handles the Upanishad. A handled Upanishad is the one that speaks, not the book itself. So the Guru becomes a worshipful entity, not because of the Guru, whosoever it may be. The Guru becomes worshipful because I want this knowledge. And when I see the Guru as a person, Purusha, rather than a personality, that's a difficult thing to do. Because when there is a Guru, you are focused on the personality. You want to hang out with the Guru. You want to, what is that? You want to find out what makes them tick. But the Upanishad advises that you transcend the personality in order to see the person, which is exactly what the Guru helps you do. Transcend your own personality, the ragged, jagged edges of your own personality, to discover that one and the same Purusha in everything, in everybody, hidden as the Svetasvatara Upanishad says, like butter in the buttermilk. It's everywhere and yet it is hidden. That is what it says. Yasya deve para bhaktihi yatha deve tatha gurau. Tasyaiva. For such a person alone, that evakara is for emphasis. For that person alone, for those people alone, prakashante kathitaha arthaha. He kathitaha arthaha means the taught Upanishad only lights up in the minds of those for whom bhakti is predominant. In other words, without bhakti there is no mukti. Bhakti, mukti connected. So, for whom there is total devotion and surrender, for them the words of the Upanishad prakashante, they light up. Who are these people? The Upanishad calls such people with great preparation and bhakti Mahatmas. They are Mahatmas, they are great souls, great beings who are ready to study the Upanishad. So, therefore what? So therefore I go back to all the ways in which, here, because people always say I want practical tips, so I'm ending with some practical tips, concluding here with some practical tips. I don't even know how long I have talked, but anyhow
please,
it is.
please,
Yeah. So practical tips. Practical tip number 1, we start cultivating some self-love. Not through the means that we have been trying, but through the means which are more in keeping with the tranquil, quiet mind. So if you are a person running around all the time and thinking that will give self-love, try listening to some music. There is no therapy, better therapy than music. Try listening to some music. I don't mean heavy metal, okay? Yeah. That will make you run away. And most of the parents in America who come to the classes, their nightmare is their teenage son or daughter wanting to open a band along with his or her friends in the garage. Okay? And above the garage is the master bedroom where the parents are staying. So imagine, So that is their fear. This is what they will do. So I don't mean heavy metal music, not this music that agitates and make you numb, but the music that makes you in harmony with yourself. So anything that is soothing, calming, classical, semi-classical is what I'm having in mind, and with nice lyrics. That lyrics are also important. Otherwise, if the lyric says, I hate you, I hate everything, if that's the chorus, then there is a subliminal messaging. Yeah. The mind doesn't become tranquil. Or this world is full of sorrow. Oh, ये क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ, क्यों हुआ. Oh, this is... There is a song like that, right? Yeah, old song. You feel like lying down under the covers. Feel like not coming out. These kinds of songs you must not listen to. Yeah.
But in the end it says, no, chodo ab matlab.
Yeah, whatever it is. But still, this is what remains. Yeah. Chodo means out of hopelessness. Kuch nahi hoga, chhod do. That is what it is. Leave it. Nothing is going to happen. These, so avoid hopeless songs, helpless songs, songs of dependency, songs of, strife, conflict. Lyrics are important because there is a subliminal messaging. Very, very crucial to my growth is having the proper frame of mind. And to keep that in the frame of mind, one has to be able to get out of this. I was telling in the retreat, we just came from Mauritius. Some of us are here, so if you have questions, you can ask them about Mauritius later. And so there I was saying that I was relating this. One woman came and told me, I simply cannot meditate. I am unable to meditate. I said, why? Because the TV is going on all the time. I said, switch it off. Oh my God, I never thought of it. They were putting it on some news channel, CNN or something. It was always there in the background softly. Then she said, whenever she sat down, oh, only this terrible news is coming. Turn it off. She had not thought of it at all. What a thought. So that is how one cultivates some, harmony. And then when you are in harmony with the whole, then there is tranquility. Tranquility brings out cheerfulness and self-love. That is the first thing. Second thing is that this is an interpersonal practical tip for self-growth to be able to love and appreciate the Upanishads. So what is the interpersonal practical tip? The interpersonal practical tip is when we have engagements with people, whether it's people within, with whom we live every day, or whether it is people who we see occasionally, let everybody else win the argument. What? I want to feel like I'm feeling like arguing with you right now. I will also let you win the argument about whether it's whether it's a sound practice to let other people win the argument. Especially if it's the people in your familial circle, it's a very sound way. Let them win the argument. As I said, first they'll take your temperature. What happened? What happened here? What is wrong with them? They are usually wanting to have their own way. Let them win the argument. Suddenly, once they are convinced that you don't have fever, then they'll be very happy. Oh, you're letting me get away with this. Yeah, you're fine. Everybody is okay. It's all right. You let them win the argument. Oh, but I feel like a loser. No, you are a winner. Because what happened? In that loser feeling is the self-growth. You have to go inside that loser feeling and say, I'm not a loser at all. Because I had a choice to win this argument. I could have crushed this fellow completely. But what did I do? Let this person win the argument, her or him. And therefore what? As a result, I have grown. From needing to be groaning all the time, I have grown into a person who is free of the dependency on other people, trying to fight with other people in order to have some self-worth. And then there is another win there. That is one win. You have self-growth. Second win is that they'll start doing whatever you tell them because they are no longer threatened by you. They're no longer threatened. Only one time doesn't work, but it has to be done constantly. They're no longer threatened. And then they will say, yes, Vedanta retreat is coming, you please go. They will insult, even if they were resistant about it, they will themselves send you because upon that, their own happiness depends now on you studying Vedanta. They will let you go. So you have to have that. That is the second thing. To be with others, friendly. Friendly means letting go. Why you have to argue? No, because I am right. You know you're right, correct? I'm not sure. Then you first be sure. I am right. Okay, if you know you're right, why do you have to advertise it? You don't have to advertise it. Self-growth is a personal affair. It's just and the third thing and the final thing is this. Self-growth, gaining emotional maturity is like throwing away the garbage. You don't advertise it. It's a quiet affair between you and Bhagavan. You know why? Because just like when you take out the garbage, you don't call the press conference. Here, I'm so-and-so from flat number so-and-so. I'm taking out my garbage. This is my garbage bag. In fact, you feel ashamed, like so many things I'm throwing away. What's wrong with me? Quietly in the night, you go and throw it away. You don't want fanfare. Here too, it's all throwing away of patterned habits, patterned ways of interaction. And so when I'm in harmony with the relative world of people, situation, events and things, including myself, including my antahkarana, my inner mind, etc., it is very easy for me to be in harmony with the Absolute. Nay, in fact, it is very easy for me to understand I am that which is called Absolute. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Om Purnamadah
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you
a
very much for
beautiful
the mic.
topic. And I know why it came to you, because my guru is from the Advadasin Sampradaya, and they believe in Bhakti Gyan Samuchaya.
Very good.
So this was the
Fantastic.
chord which came in the end,